All right, folks, I'm hoping this works now. I'm having some serious issues with my orientation, not my personal orientation, but this camera or this phone orientation, where it doesn't want to give me landscape. It wants to do other things, and I have to have landscape to be able to show everything. So hopefully we are here um, while I get everything else together. Let's try to get into the mood. All right, so hopefully now we are in business, but we shall see. Had some snafus there early on with the orientation, like I said, and it just wasn't working for me. Hopefully now this is. Let me see what you guys can see and then see what if I need to improve anything. See, it looks like everything's fitting in there pretty well. I might even be able to lower this a little bit to see if it still covers everything, but get close to the cards as I can. Looks like that's the optimal position right there. Hello, Forrest. Hello, Tim, Kenyon, Joel, and John. Thank you for sticking with me while I go through my little snafu. I do have Gracie dog with me upstairs, but she is quiet and resting. She's gotten her CBD oil serving, so hopefully she is set to go and will be quiet the rest of the game. All right, Astros and Mets. There are a couple guys that were not carded by Strat, and I did not print them off the computer. So what I did is I have what they call the nameless players. And so for Houston, there are two. Fred Gladding and Mike Cosgrove are not carded. So I'm going to use this card in case we need either one of these guys. They will be the last two out of the bullpen. I'm going to use everybody else. If I run out of pitchers, then Gladding and Cosgrove will go to the nameless player. Same with the Mets. The guy Schenk here, the last guy on the bench, is not listed. I looked him up. He's a terrible hitter. So I took the worst possible card for the nameless player, and that's what I'll be using in case Schenk needs to pinch hit. Of course, again, he would be the last guy off the bench because he's not very good. So that's what I would go with. Hello, Mr. Goodman. I thought you had a stream going. I was watching part of that as I was setting this up. Like I said, I had a couple problems with the orientation on this. Hello, DJ from the left coast. How are you? Couple of administrative duties. We need to do the ballpark effects for Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium, this game is in May, and it's a day game, so we're right here. 1 to 8 is good, 9 to 15 is average, and 16 to 20 is bad. The evil D20 says it's 13, so the evil D20 says it is an average day. So on an average day in Shea Stadium, an average day, base hits, singles are 1 to 6 for lefties, 1 to 11 for righties. Home runs are 1 to 6 across the board. So that's what we'll go with. We'll make those notations. So lefties are a slight disadvantage. Righties get the slight advantage on the singles. But home runs, it is 1 to 6 across the board. All right, pitcher-catcher interaction. Unfortunately, both starting pitchers, Jim McAndrew and Don Wilson, are terrible at holding runners. McAndrew's a +8 and Wilson's a +5. The catcher for Houston, Edwards is a +2, so that makes that a +7. But again, +5 is the highest you can have. Catcher for the Mets, Dyer, is a -2, but you take the +8 to it, makes it a +6. So again, +5 is what we have. Hello, Kent. How you doing? Chuck, how are you doing? Good to see all of you guys. Like I said, sorry about the little snafu. I had something set up to go right at 12:15, and then my orientation thing got screwed up on my phone. hopefully now it looks like everything is about as good as I'm going to get it. Check and make sure I'm on the right thing here. Yeah, that's what it says. Okay. I'll do one more focus thing just to see if I can get this thing to get into a sharper focus if possible. I don't know. I guess that's the best I'm going to do with it. Cheap equipment, that's what happens to you. Okay. All right. Like I said, I do have Gracie there. She is quiet, but I am ready, Mr. Gudeman, just in case something should happen. I am prepared, and I have this at the ready for in case I get pulled away to do something. There won't be just a blank thing there. At least you'll know what's going on. So went big time with that. Big time sign there. So hopefully that's meets with everybody's approval. So we'll see what happens. Got the net colored dice. Of course, Houston's a similar color, so it's kind of hard to distinguish between the two, but that's what we have. Astros won the game in real life 9-2. So we'll see if that stays the same or whether the Mets can correct that or fix that. For the Mets, it's Jim McAndrew, right-hander. He is going to be the starting pitcher. And leading things off for the Astros will be the toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn. Jimmy Wynn. All right. Thanks to everybody who's spending part of your Saturday with me on the NBC Game of the Week, and we are ready to go. That is a 4-3 against a right-hander from McAndrew. 4-3 is a fly ball, right field X. So right off the bat, right field X. That is going to be Rusty Staub, and he is a 3-E7. 3-E7. 3 and a 5. That could be trouble. Let's check him out. 3 and a 5 for an outfielder. That could be trouble. On the chart, a 3 and a 5 is an SI2, so it's going to be a base hit. That is a total of 11, and he is an E7. E7, there is no 11, but it is going to be a base hit. So Jimmy Wynn will drop one in front of Rusty Staub for a leadoff single. And again, with that +5 factor, pitcher-catcher hold rating, everybody's going to be tempted to run. So to get the jump, Jimmy Wynn needs a 2 through 8 or a 10. If he rolls a 9 or a 12, he's caught stealing automatically. So he's going to go for that jump. That is an 8, which means he does get the jump. So he will start as a 15. Being held makes him a 13, but then the +5 makes it an 18. So 1 to 18, and he will steal it. And he does. So Jimmy Wynn taking advantage of McAndrew's lack of being able to hold runners, and he steals second base fairly easily. Duffy Dyer considered just holding that ball, but he did go and throw through, but just didn't manifest into anything. So Roger Metzger is your batter, and of course Wynn will be held on second base, which means as a switch hitter, Metzger, the shortstop, Harrelson is responsible for holding him on. We get a 2-4, and that is a ground ball, third base B. And with the super advanced chart, I believe the runner has to hold, but we'll make it official. Infield is back, ground ball B, runner at second, says a 6. 6 says if hit to first or second, the runner advances, but otherwise he has to hold, so the runner, in fact, will hold. And Metzger is out as Wayne Garrett checks the runner and throws over to first base. So out number 1 for Cesar Cedeno. Nothing on the havoc roll. Again, now the second baseman this time, Felix Millan, is responsible for holding the runner on any X chances. 6-5, and we get a fly ball center field B. That is going to be out number 2. But the runner was not on third, so he can't move up. So 2 down, and here's Bob Watson. Now, one thing about Bob Watson we got to keep an eye on in this game. He's in left field, but he is a 5 +3 and an E11. So very, very poor fielder is Bob Watson. So if the Astros get the lead late, he will be substituted for with a better defender, guaranteed. All right, so here is Watson, McAndrew. Nothing going on in the havoc roll. And again, Millan responsible for holding the runner. 3-10, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. That's going to end the inning. So McAndrew pitches out of it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Astros nothing and the Mets coming to bat. So McAndrew pitches around the leadoff single and stolen base. And now that brings up the right-hander Don Wilson on the mound for the Stros. And a guy I don't know that much about, Ted Martinez, is playing center field in this game. I'm not sure why, but he is. He's a 4 in center field. That's kind of rough. Don't know why. Maybe Willie Mays or Theodore or Beecham might have been playing, should have been playing center field. I don't know, but that's what they've got going right now. Wilson with the pitch, 5-7. That's a 1 for a triple, but anything else is a fly to center. And as soon as I talk about center field, here comes the other center fielder, Cesar Cedeno, tracking it down for out number 1. Martinez is retired. And I bring up Felix the Cat Millan. 6-5, and that's trouble for Wilson. 1-6 is the in home run chance. Millan, though, has weak power. That's a 15, so it works out better for Millan. It actually turns into a double. So Felix Millan with a 1-out double. 1-out double for Millan. And that'll bring up Wayne Garrett. Millan will be held on because he does run at a 16. They want to cut down his lead to try to score from second on a hit. So he will be held on, which means the shortstop, Metzger, is responsible. So Wilson to Wayne Garrett. That's a 2-3. That's a ballpark home run chance. And that's a 4. The home run chances are a 6. So that is long and that is gone. Wayne Garrett just dumps one over the right field wall. And it didn't matter about holding Millan on or not. It's a 2-run bomb for Wayne Garrett as he hit the home run on the ballpark's check on that 2-3. It is a diamond shot, ballpark home run, 1-6. That's a 4. So 2-run bomb for Wayne Garrett. And the Mets, who only scored 2 runs in the whole game in real life, have already scored the 2 runs here in the first. And there's only 1 out. How about that? Here is Rusty Staub. 1-3 for Staub's. A ground ball to first base C, and that's with the C, we're going to call it a ground ball to Lee May, who flips to Wilson covering 3-1 for scoring at home. And my goodness, why wouldn't you be? So 2 down, and here is Ed Kranepool, Mr. Met. Probably the definitive Met is Mr. Kranepool. 1-11, and that's a foul out to Lee May at first base to end the inning, but damage done. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors and nobody left. At the end of 1, it's the Metropolitans 2 and the Astros nothing, thanks to Wayne Garrett and his 2-run bomb. Shea Stadium not conducive to a lot of home runs, but in that case, with the evil D20 showing a low number, that was the case. So now Lee May is up to the plate against McAndrew, 2-5, and that's a solid single for Lee May. He's not going to go anywhere. He's not a very fast runner. They won't even hold him on. But he is aboard for Doug Rader. So Rader will be stepping on and will try to avoid a double play if possible. Nothing happening there. Hello, Mr. Mike. How are you doing? Mike in the truck. McAndrew, 2-6, and that's a strikeout of Doug Rader right off the bat, right off Rader's card. 1 away. Rader is out of there for Johnny Edwards, the catcher. Again, Lee May at first not being held. He's not a good runner. McAndrew, 5-5 against the left-hander Edwards. That is a ground ball second base A. That's a 4-6-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left. Bottom of the second. Mets still hold a 2-0 lead, even though they lost the game in real world 9-2. Don Wilson back out, and he'll be facing Jim Gosker, who's normally you would think would be a center fielder, but he's playing left field in this game. 1-5, and that's a solid single to right field. Look at all those hits in column 1 for Gosker, and he found one. Not a good base runner, though. He will not be held. Hello, is that Anderson? It looks like a double-A Anderson there. Don't know if that's an homage to Arn Anderson or not, but from wrestling fame. But either way, yeah, Strat has a great flow to it. I don't even pay attention to the 50-50. It just means that either the pitcher or the batter won the at-bat, and that's how I look at it. So, obviously, it's been around for years, so somebody likes it. 2, that means it's a chance of a pass ball or a balk. 1 means chance of a balk, so Don Wilson has a balk rating of 1, but there is no 1 there, so Wilson will not balk. Pitch to Dyer, 3-4 for Dyer. That's a straight-out strikeout, and that is 1 away. So Duffy Dyer is out of there. Here's Bud Harrelson, and again, Gosker at first. Not much of a threat to run. Not really being held at all. 4-9, switch hitter Bud Harrelson. 4-9 is a ground ball shortstop X, who would normally be holding, but they're not holding the runner on, so he is not affected. So Metzger gets to keep his full rating, which in this case is a 1 E14. So it could be a double play here. 1 and a 15, that will be a ground ball A, I do believe. 1 and a 15, let me double check it. 1 and a 15 is a G1, and that is a 13, and he is an E, Metzger is an E14. E14 and a 13 for a shortstop. Nope, there's a 15 and a 17, but not a 13. So that is a double play on the G1. That's going to go 6-4-3. And I think even if he had been held, that would have been a 2 and a 2 and a 15. Would have still been a G1. So even had they been holding him on, it would have been a double play. So that's going to end the inning. It's going to go 6-4-3. So 1 double play in the top half of the second deserves a double play in the bottom half of the second. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the third. Still 2-0 favor the Metropolitans. McAndrew back out. Will be facing Tommy Helms, and then the pitcher Wilson, who is John, I got those from Al Wilson on play.com. If you go to play.com, frequently asked, if you go on the Facebook group and there's post on it and search for it, but it's his Google Drive, Al Wilson's Google Drive is where he has all these stadiums out there to print if you like. I just like it because it gives a little background ambiance. You don't have to have it. I just prefer it. Hello, Mr. Robert. Good to see you. Your Mets are ahead 2-0 thanks to a 2-run homer from Wayne Garrett in the first inning. And now we go to the top of the third. Here is Mr. Helms. 4-11 against McAndrew. That's a ballpark home run chance on a 1-16. He has weak power, though. But it's a 1-11 because the ballpark is only a 1-6. So that will actually be a fly out to left field. And there's 1 away, but it would have been a home run anyway because he had weak power. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Don Wilson, who's using pitch rating card number 2. You have to print them on semi-gloss photo paper, and they come out really well. McAndrew, 6-12. 6-12 is a ground ball second base X. That's Felix Millan. Millan is a 2E10. 2E10 for Millan. 2 and an 8 should be okay. 2 and an 8 is a G2 with the bases empty. That's good enough. That's an 8. Millan's an E10. E10 and an 8. There is no 8. It's a good play. So Felix Millan handles a tough hop and will throw out the pitcher Wilson for out number 2. That's going to bring up Jimmy Wynn. He singled and stole second, but was stranded there back in the first inning. Hello, Larry. How you doing? 2-11 for Wynn. That's a 2-out walk. So Jimmy Wynn, and you know with that +5 pitcher-catcher hold thing, he's going to be looking to get the jump. So again, let's see if he can get the jump. 2 through 8 or a 10, he gets the jump. 9 or 12, he's automatically caught stealing. That's a 12, he's automatically caught stealing. So there you go. Jimmy Wynn tried to get the jump, got caught stealing, and that's going to do it. He is out of there. Caught stealing. So Wynn got the single, but then was caught stealing. We'll say he's going to be caught stealing 1 to 3 to 6 as they threw behind him. But technically, I guess it's a caught stealing. So you can call it anything you want. It really doesn't matter. It's the last out of the inning. And unless you're keeping official scores, it doesn't really matter. No runs, a hit, no errors, and with the caught stealing, nobody left. Bottom of the third, still 2-0 Metropolitans. And Metzger, who was at bat, will lead off the next inning. So Don Wilson back out. He'll be facing McAndrew, who uses pitcher hitting card number 1. 1-6, that is a strikeout. So easy strikeout there. McAndrew is out, but he says, I'm here to pitch, not to hit. So he's out of there. And here's Ted Martinez. Again, strange choice to play center field, but that's what he's doing. 1-8, and that's a single. So he said, what do you mean strange choice? I just got a base hit. So Ted Martinez will be held, but he won't try to go anywhere. 1 chance for a wild pitch, and that's Don Wilson's wild pitch rating is a 6. At 14, it's blocked by Edwards, so that prevented the wild pitch. And now here is Felix Millan. Wilson, 3-6 to Millan's ground ball shortstop A. It's a 6-4-3 double play. Second inning in a row, the Mets have hit into an inning-ending double play. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left thanks to the double play. 3 innings in the books. Still 2-0. Favor the Metropolitans. That 2-run homer from Garrett has held up. McAndrew has a 5 for his fatigue. Don Wilson has an 8. McAndrew split time starting and relieving, but the Mets have, pretty good stash in their bullpen. So if they need them, they got them. They got 5 pitchers, so that certainly should hold up. All right, here is Roger Metzger, who was at bat when Wynn was caught stealing. Little pregnant pause there for that 1-6. 1-3, and it's a ground ball first base C, so Kranepool is going to get it and flip to McAndrew covering 3-1 for the out. 1 away for Cesar Cedeno. 4-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Mr. Harrelson. He is a 1 E16. Since he's a 1, you don't even need to roll the D20 because nobody's on base. We're just checking E16 right now, and that is a 6. That is a 14. E16, and wouldn't you know it? He's a 1, so you figure it's got to be in the books, right? It's got to be guaranteed, correct? The only error on the only number on an E16 shortstop, the only one base error is a 14. That's a 14. So there you go. He booted it. It was such an easy play. He booted it, and Cedeno is aboard. He's gonna be looking to run. So E6, E6, E6. We'll put him on. And now Cedeno will look to get the jump. 2 through 6 on 11 gets him the jump. That's a 5. He gets the jump, so he will go. He's a 19. -2 for being held is a 17, but the +5 is a 22, but 19 is as high as you can go. So anything other than a 20, he'll make it. And he does, obviously. So easily in there with the stolen base is Cedeno, as they are abusing McAndrew's poor hold rating. So Cedeno is on second base now with the stolen base with 1 out, and he will be held for Bob Watson. Nothing going on there. McAndrew, 212, and that is a ballpark home run chance. It's 1-6, but that's a 17. So it's merely going to be a fly to left. That is out number 2. A long fly ball by Watson, but at the track it was run down by Gosker, and there's 2 away now for the dangerous Lee May. He did single his first time up. Nothing happening there. Runner is being held, so Millan's responsible. 4-8. 4-8 is a ground ball to short. That's going to end the inning, as Harrelson just throws it to first. So no runs, no hits, no error, 1 error and 1 left. The error did not come back to hurt him. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 2-0 as McAndrew is pitching goose eggs to the Stros, as they are having trouble offensively. And the man for the Mets offensively, hello Jeremy, how are you doing? Is Wayne Garrett, his 2-run homer in the first. Off that 2-3 result ballpark home run, he got the number he needed. He is responsible for the 2 runs. Wilson, 1-5 is a walk, so this time they didn't want any part of Mr. Wayne Garrett. He will be aboard on a walk. He will not go anywhere, but they will be held. They have to hold him because of the poor stolen base combination. They just don't want him to get a jump easily and be able to take second without a throw. So they want to keep the double play in order as best they can. Nothing happening there. Rusty Staub, the batter. So the shortstop Metzger is responsible for the hold. 4-2, and that is a split chance. Split chance. Triangle, go down to the bottom. 1-7 is a single. That's a 6. It's a single 1-star. It would have been an out on the advanced side, but on super advanced, it's a single as we take that triangle result and split it down. That's where the super advanced gives you a little bit, I guess it kind of drills down a little bit more on the effectiveness of the pitcher or lack thereof. And now runners are at first and second with nobody out for Ed Kranepool. Infield looking to turn 2. 2-7, and that's a fly to center field. No clutch involved yet. So that's 1 away. 1 down, and that'll take us to Jim Gosker, the left fielder. I will try to keep up with the chat, but sometimes I'll get going into the game and I get too much into the game. I forget to look over there, so I apologize if I don't seem to get your comment as quickly as you would like. 2-6 is a strikeout. So 2 down. Don Wilson trying to get out of the mess. He's got to get by Duffy Dyer. That's the last hurdle for Don Wilson this inning, is to get through Duffy Dyer. We get a 3-5, and that's a strikeout, and he did it. So Don Wilson comes back and gets out of the mess after the first 2 were on with nobody out. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 left. Score still remains 2-0 Mets after 4 innings here from Shea Stadium. And now this is the fatigue inning for McAndrew. Number 5 is his fatigue inning. So we'll keep an eye on that. McAndrew and Doug Rader will lead it off for the Astros. Struck out his first chance. 4-8, and that's a ground ball to short. Boy, 4-9 would have been a home run. 4-9 would have definitely been a home run on that 1-14. That was a 5, and he had normal power. But 4-8, ground ball to short. So as Don Adams used to say in Get Smart, missed it by that much. Here's Johnny Edwards. 3-4 for Edwards, and that's a foul out to his counterpart at catcher, Duffy Dyer. Easy 2 outs. John, I do use the clutch hitting. I don't know if anybody else does, but that's part of Super Advanced, so I try to play all the Super Advanced I can, and clutch is part of that. Here's Helms, 2-5 for Helms. That's a solid single, a 2-out single for Helms. Not a good runner. He will not be held. One thing it will do is it'll clear Wilson this inning. If nothing else, it allows Wilson to bat, and they can lead off with Jimmy Wynn next inning. But you never know. Wilson might get a hit. You never can tell. 4-9, and look at this. He is going to get a hit. 1-14 is a homer. Of course, he has weak power. That's an 18. That's a double to center field. No asterisk, so that means the runner, Metzger, might have a chance to score. Or, sorry, Helms. Helms is a 12. He was not being held, makes him a 13. 2 outs makes him a 15. Center fielder Martinez arm is a +1, makes him a 16. So 1-16, he will score. And he does. McAndrew will hold, Wilson will hold at second. Not going to let a pitcher get the extra overthrow. He's not a good base runner for that. So, but it's a 2-1 game. So you think the inning's over, and Wilson off the pitcher card hits a double. Go figure. All right, here's Jimmy Wynn. Now a base hit can tie the game. 3-11, and that's a ballpark home run chance, but that's a 19. Just a deep fly to left, and McAndrew escapes. That could have been a 2-run homer that would have given the Astros the lead. Instead, the Astros have to settle for just the 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-1. That's going to be all from McAndrew. He's going to go his 5 innings, and that's going to be it. He is scheduled to bat second this inning, so they're going to remove McAndrew. He's given up a couple hits and a run, so he's on the borderline of fatigue, so they're going to go ahead and take him out while the taking out is good. That's on X chances, Jeff. When the runner is responsible, when the infielder is responsible for holding the runner, and you get an X chance, you bump the number up by 1. They do get that, plus you bump them up by 1. It's like a double whammy. So that's why you really have to. I mean, to be realistic, you try to hold the runners, but it can cost you. It can cost you. If the ball is hit to the wrong part, it can cost you for sure. And it's not an interruption. Thank you for asking that. All right, so now the Mets, and if I don't know if it's RJL still here, are you watching or listening, RJL, with the pitcher coming up next? I was going to give you the option of who you wanted to pinch hit. There, you can see the bench guys all there. The only lefty that I have that's any good, well, he's not that good anyway. Boswell, 227, not very good. The best they have on the bench actually is Jim Beecham. He's 279. Theodore is not bad at 259. So if you want to chime in, you can. If I don't hear anything, I'll just drive on and pick someone. All right, so Bud Harrelson's going to lead off. You're still here. Okay, Harrelson's leading off. The pitcher is next. I'm pinch hitting for McAndrew because he's reached his fatigue level. And so you got your bench guys here. Beecham has the best average at 279, but you might want to go to somebody else. There's other names there. You maybe want Willie Mays to pinch hit. I don't know. I don't know if it depends on whether Harrelson reaches or not. So let me play the Harrelson at bat, and then we'll come back to you. Wilson, 211. That's a ground ball to second, so Harrelson is out of there. So 1 away, and now we need a pinch hitting decision. Who is going to pinch hit for McAndrew? You got Beecham, Fregosi, Theodore, Willie Mays, Jerry Grody, Ken Boswell. You got your choice of who you want. I'm leaning toward Beecham, but it's your call. Since you are a Met fan, I will defer to you if you wish, or you can just defer to me and let me do my brilliant managing. It's up to you. John says Mays, but what do you say, RJL? You're the Met guru. Let McAndrew hit, but he is fatigued. Do you still want to let him hit? Because I was going to take him out of the game because he's fatigued. But if you want him to pitch fatigue next inning, we can do it. It's up to you. If you want McAndrew to hit, I'll bring the pitcher hitting card back out. So according to this, RJL wants McAndrew to hit and stay in the game. So we will do that. But got to be careful with his fatigue, though. All right, so McAndrew will hit against Wilson. 1-7, that's a strikeout. If it's any consolation, Jim Beecham would have, Willie Mays was the choice. He would have grounded to short, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He would have also been out. But the bullpen, that is correct, Jeff, because you are increasing the rating by the range by 1. You are correct. You are absolutely correct on that. All right, so 2 down as McAndrew struck out. We're back to the top of the order, and Ted Martinez. Wilson, 2-9 to Martinez. He struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down go the Mets. But they cling to a 2-1 lead after 5. McAndrew is back out. I'm glad to hear that, Jeff. I mean, it's a learning process for us all. So Anything I can do to help you out, I will do it. We still need to play a game together online. I haven't forgot about that. We need to do that one of these days in your replay, in your 69 replay, on a meaningless game where it doesn't matter for that. We just have a good time and play the game. All right, so Roger Metzger is up now. Let's see. McAndrew is allowed one more hitter to reach and one more base runner to reach. Then he'll hit fatigue. He's not fatigued yet, but he will be on the next base runner that reaches. 2-6, and that's going to be right now. 2-6, a 1-2 is a home run. That's an 11. It will be a triple for Roger Metzger. A leadoff triple for Roger Metzger. So RJL now with this triple. Bullpen, you see who we have here. Hennigan, McGraw, Sadecki, Stone, and Webb. Now, if we use Webb, I don't have a card for Webb, so we would be using the nameless player that closely matches his actual stats. If we went with Webb, anybody else, I do have the card for it. So it's up to you who you might want to have warming up in the bullpen. But a leadoff triple for Metzger to start the 6th. And that'll bring up Cedeno. Infield is going to play in, trying to choke that runoff. Nothing there. McAndrew to Cedeno. 2-9, and that is a ground ball third base A, but with the infield in, that should just keep the runner frozen there. Infield in, a ground ball A, runner at third is a 1, which means batter out, runner holds. So there you go. Go with the best ERA. That's what I will do. Right now, Cedeno is out of there. 5-3. Runner is still at third with 1 out for Bob Watson. Bob Watson. Let's see who has the best ERA out of the bullpen for the Mets. Let's see who that would be. Probably you don't want to use the closer, though, I would think. McGraw, 388, 341. The best ERA in the bullpen is George Stone, who's also got some long relief because he was a starter. Just didn't have to start this game. But he was 12-3 with a 2.60 ERA and 1 save to go with his 20 starts. So you can let me know if you want to use George Stone as your next pitcher coming up. He is the best ERA out there. That's including Tug McGraw. So George Stone would be the best. George Stone would be the best. Watson is up. Infield is in still, of course, trying to choke that runoff. Nothing happening there. McAndrew, 5-2. That's a ground ball first base X. That is Mr. Ed Kranepool. He's a 3E4. 3, oh, that's trouble. 3 and a 3. That's going to probably get the run home, most likely. Almost guaranteed to get the run home. A 3 and a 3. Oh, sorry, that's outfield. Let me get the infield. Had it backwards. Let's get the infield chart out here. 3 and a 3 is an S1, so it will be a single. That will score the run to tie the game. That is a 13, and Kranepool is an E4. There's a, they just missed it. E4 for first baseman had a 14 sitting right here, but that is a 13. So Watson will reach to tie the game at 2. Lee May coming up. Powerful right-handed hitter. In a 2-2 game, and now McAndrew is fatigued. So are we going to make the move to George Stone right now, or do you want to give McAndrew another chance, righty on righty, with Lee May? That's the call. Runner at first. Watson is slow as mud, so they will not hold him on. McAndrew, they're visiting him at the mound. Yogi Berra is out to talk to him. And McAndrew's like, let me stay in, let me stay in. I can get him, I can get him. Much like Goose Gossage said in 1984 about Kirk Gibson. So how do they want to handle this? Does Berra pull the trigger with Stone, or do we stick with McAndrew? That is the question. In a tie game at 2. After much deliberation on the mound, Yogi Berra says, I've had enough of you. And George Stone's going to be coming on to replace McAndrew. Get a fresh arm out there. Stone is also a -2 hold, which now turns the hold rating for the pitcher-catcher result into a -4. It went from a +5 to a -4. So that puts a kibosh pretty much on a lot of the running game right there, just by doing that one move. So Stone facing Lee May. Run at first, not being held. 5-10, and that's a ground ball first base X. But again, he's not being held, so we're not going to ding one from Kranepool's numbers because he was not being held. Kranepool's a 3-E4. 3 and a 13. That'll at least get an out somewhere. 3 and a 13 is a G2, and that is a 15 on an E4. And again, he just missed it. E4, that number there is a 14 for an error. We had a 13 last time. We got a 15 this time. It will be a G2 on a 3-13. Is a G2, so it's a fielder's choice. Lee May reaches on the 3-6 fielder's choice. Out number 2. Lee May, again, not going to be held because he's really, really slow. Really, really slow. And that'll bring up Doug Rader. George Stone trying to get out of this and keep the score tied where it is. 4-7, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. So George Stone does the job. McAndrew will lead with a no decision. For the Astros, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2. George Stone is now your pitcher record for the Mets, as McAndrew has a no decision. Don Wilson, new life now with the score tied, will come out. His fatigue is an 8, so he's good to go. Felix Millan will lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th. He's doubled and hit into a double play. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to short. 1 away as Metzger takes care of it. 1 down. For Wayne Garrett, he hit the 2-run homer in the first inning. That's all the Mets have been able to muster to this point. 3-12, and that is a fly to center. That's out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for Rusty Staub. 1-9 for Staub is a ground ball to short. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Don Wilson. And we go to the 7th inning, tied at 2. So how about that? Tied at 2. Tied at 2. George Stone back out. He's got plenty of stamina. It'll be Edwards, Helms, and Wilson due up for the Astros. Although, if they manage to get somebody on, they may pinch hit. That's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. So we shall see what happens with that. All right, Johnny Edwards, your batter. After a pregnant pause, Johnny Edwards will lead off against George Stone. Lefty on lefty. 6-10, that's a fly ball center field X. That's where the trouble comes in. Ted Martinez is a 4. in center field. Tough having those 4s in the outfield. And that's a 9. We'll see if he gets to it. 4 and a 9 for an outfielder. A 4 and a 9. 4 and a 9 is a single, SI2, so he will not get to it. That is a 9, and he is an E9 in center field. E9 and a 9. There is no 9, so it is going to be no error, but there will be a base hit as Edwards drops it in front of Martinez. And again, pay the price for playing those 4-rated center fielders, or 4-rated outfielders in general, I guess. Edwards will not be held on. He's not a good runner. So he will stand pat. And here's Tommy Helms against Mr. Stone. 1-5, and that's a ground ball, second base C. That'll get the runner over to second base on the 4-3 ground out, 1 away. And now the pitcher Wilson is due up. He's pitching very well, and he's got a double in the game. But boy, he sure could use a pinch hit right about now to try to blow this game open, or not blow it open, but give him the lead, I should say. But who do you go to? Is the question. On their bench, they don't have a whole lot on the bench, unfortunately. For the Astros, it's just not a whole lot there. Jesus Alou is a 236, and that's about as good as they have. Is a 236. So they're going to go ahead and let Wilson hit. How about that? They're going to let Wilson hit. Maybe get something off Stone's card. But they like the way Wilson is pitching. 3-5. That's going to be a ground ball to short with an A. That'll hold the runner. So 2 down. Runner still at second base. And now here's Jimmy Wynn. Now, first base is open, but Metzger did triple his last time up. Jimmy Wynn, though, well, he's not a very good hitter. He's only a 220 hitter, but he does club lefties pretty well. So with first base open, they're going to give the free pass to Jimmy Wynn and go after Metzger. Metzger, they're thinking doesn't hit quite as well against lefties, so they're playing the percentages. Switch hitting Metzger. Nothing there. Stone, 2-5 to Metzger, and he walked him. That's going to load the bases. So the intentional walk is followed by an unintentional walk, and it loads the bases here in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. And a dangerous Cesar Cedeno at the plate. So this is where you can get into serious trouble. George Stone has to bear down. Get out of this against Cedeno. That's a 1-3, and it's a ballpark home run chance. The home run chance is 1-6. That is a 4, and that is a grand salami for Cesar Cedeno. Look at it again. 1-3 is a ballpark home run chance against lefties. It's 1-6. The D20, the evil D20, is a 4. That is a grand salami for Cesar Cedeno. And somewhere RJL, if he is eating lunch, has just spit it out and says everything is rigged. Everything is rigged against his Mets, as that's a grand salami. And now Don Wilson, the beneficiary of those runs. Stone trying to finish out the inning. 1-7. That's a ground ball to second to end the inning finally. But the Astros put a 4 spot up. 4 runs on just the 2 hits because there were 2 walks involved. No errors and nobody left. 7th inning stretch time here at Shea. It's not a happy crowd. It is the Astros 6 and the Mets 2. Remember, the Astros won the real game 9-2, so we're getting pretty close to that as we speak. But it's a 7th inning stretch, so take a stretch with me and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." right, so there we go. Forgot to mark off George Stone here. Okay, so we're ready for the bottom of the seventh. Don Wilson is refreshed. He's got the 4-run lead to work with. And he's going to start off facing Ed Kranepool. The Met bullpen is loosening. They do have, looks like right-hander Hennigan in the bullpen for the Mets. 1-6 for Kranepool. He's got a couple of hits here, but that's a ground ball back to Wilson. And that's one away. That'll bring up Jimmy Gosker. Jimmy Gosker, 2-5, and that's a strikeout. So Don Wilson just mowing him down now. He's just toying with the Mets at the moment. Here's Duffy Dyer. 5-5, and that's another strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. We're only in the seventh. He has an 8. So that is a strikeout. And that's going to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. Boy, how quick was that bottom of the seventh? All of a sudden now, Mets have to go back out in the field and let the Astros do more pounding. So we go to the top of the eighth of a 6-2 game. Lee May is your batter. But the new pitcher coming in for the Mets is going to be Phil Hennigan. Not very good, obviously. 0-4 with a 6.26 ERA, but when you're losing... Hello, Jimmy Jam. How you doing? But when you are losing 6-2 in the eighth inning, these are the kind of guys you bring in. You don't bring in your best. You bring in these guys. So righty-on-righty matchup as well. So Hennigan. The only thing else that would ruin RJL's day is if I did a double switch. All right, so here we go. No double switch. Or actually, I probably could do a double switch because the pitcher is going to bat second. We will do a double switch now that I think about it. We will do a double switch just to ruin his day. Just because. And coming up for the Mets, coming into the game for the Mets, I should say. Let's see who was the last out. Last out was Dyer. You've also got Gosker, a left fielder, possibly. So Jerry Grody is going to come in and catch, and he will bat in the number 9 position. So Grody is going to hit in the number 9 position. Duffy Dyer is out of the game. The pitcher spot will bat 7th. So Grody is your new catcher. And he's a -2 to go with Hennigan's +2, which makes that a 0 on the factor. But on a 6-2 game in the eighth, there may not be a whole lot of base stealing anyway. So leaving the game is Duffy Dyer. He's out of there. So Lee May, hello Tuscany, how are you doing? Lee May is your batter, and he's facing Phil Hennigan. I can honestly say I've never heard of Phil Hennigan until now. So that's one thing about playing these old Strat-O-Matic seasons. You start learning about guys. Hennigan, 6-7, and that's a straight-out single. Right off the bat, Lee May will single. Of course, he will not be held. He's a terrible runner. He will not be held. So Lee May with a single, and that's going to bring up Doug Rader. And again to Rader. 6-11. That's a ground ball pitcher X. He's a 3E34. That's not very good. 3E34. 3-19, though, might be pretty good if he doesn't make an error. A 3 and a 19 on a pitcher chart. 3-19 is a G1. That's a 7. He's an E34. E34, there is no 7. There's a 9, a 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, and 18, but the 7 is good. So that's a double play. How about that? 1-4-3 double play turned by Mian. 2 quick outs. Here in the top of the eighth for Johnny Edwards. 4-4 against the left-handers, a ground ball third base X. That is Wayne Garrett. He's a 4 E30. 4 and a 12. That we'll see what 4 and a 12 provides. 4 and a 12 for a first baseman. A 4 and a 12 is a G3, which is good enough. That's a 6. And he is a E30. So we'll check third base, E30. And there's a 6 right there for the error. On an E30, a number 6 is sitting right there. And that is a 6. So it's an E30. Garrett will boot it. Second Mets error of the ball game. And Edwards will reach on the boot, E5. That'll bring up Tommy Helms. Edwards will not be held, obviously. It's 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Pass ball rating on Grody, the new catcher, is a 2. So it has to be a 1 or a 2 to be a pass ball. It is not, so Grody blocks it. Hennigan to Helms, 2-6. That's a single, two stars. That'll put runners on the corners. And that brings up Wilson again. And they're going to continue to let him hit. So the error makes the inning continue. Good thing for the double play. It's the only thing that's saved the Mets so far is that double play. So let's see what they want to do with that. Wilson is your batter. Hennigan trying to get out of it, hoping to get something off of the pitcher card, or the batter card, rather. Which he does. 1-9 is a strikeout to end the inning. So the fact that he was facing Wilson got him out of the inning. So nothing doing for the Stros, even though they had a lot of activity going on there. No runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left. Bottom of the 8th we go, 6-2. Astros still lead it. Don Wilson. This is his fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on fatigue. Due up is Bud Harrelson, followed by Jerry Grody and Ted Martinez. Wilson 4-7 to switch hitting Bud Harrelson. That is a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he hasn't given up anything yet, so he's not fatigued. So the strikeout will be good. That's 3 strikeouts in a row by Wilson going back to last inning. And that brings up Jerry Grody for his first at bat. 1-6. He will hit a solid single. So Jerry Grody, a solid single. He will not be held, obviously. Ted Martinez is your batter. 255 hitter, so you're not going to pinch hit for him because he's better than what's on the bench. Nothing happening there. 5-7 right-handed against Wilson is a 1 for a triple. Anything else he flies to center. It's a fly to center for out number 2. Bringing up Felix Millan. Felix Millan. 5-3, and that's a pitcher X. He's a 4E24 is Don Wilson. Hello, Brian B. How you doing? 4E24. 4-19. He'll get to that. Question is the E24, and that's an 8. 4 and a 19 is a G1. E24 and an 8 for a pitcher. E24, there is no 8. It's a good play for Don Wilson to end the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the 9th. It's still 6-2. Favor the Astros. Mets led it 2-0 through 4, but the dam broke in the 7th. That grand slam home run from Cesar Cedeno was the killer. And now we start the top of the 9th. Phil Hennigan back out. You're facing Jimmy Wynn, Metzger, and Cedeno. 2-5. Oops, let's get Jimmy Wynn out there. 2-5 is a strikeout. So he came up late and struck out. Serves him right for being late. So Wynn out on strikes. That'll bring up Metzger. 1-8. That's a ground ball back to the pitcher Hennigan for out number 2. So Hennigan looking to go 2 shutout innings of relief, which is better than what George Stone did, obviously. Not sure why the notifications aren't working. I don't know how that all works, but 4-8 right-handed. That's trouble. 1-4 is a double. That's a 7, though, so it will be a single. Cesar Cedeno will single. And with a 6-2 lead, they're going to hold him there. They're not going to worry about trying to steal bases. They're just going to play it out and not worry about it. 5-6 off of Hennigan is a ground ball to the first baseman. That's going to end the inning. Kranepool will step on the bag to end it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th, 6-2. There will be a defensive replacement for the horrible left fielder Bob Watson. He will come out, and we need a new left fielder. And they will bring, to add insult to injury, they will bring in former Met Tommy Agee. So Tommy Agee will take over in left field for Mr. Watson. He is a 3, -1 in E8, much better than that 5 that Watson has out there. So just trying to throw a little salt in the wound by putting Tommy Agee out there. All right, so Wilson going for the complete game. He only has 1 ding against his fatigue, so he's still good to go. Should he run into trouble, though? If we look down at the Astro bullpen, see who their closer was. It's kind of by committee. Crawford, York, and Ray all have 6 saves apiece. So, not sure who they would turn to at this point. I guess it'll be depend on who's on base and what the situation is. But anyway, top of the 9th, last chance. Will there be any 9th inning magic? The Mets got 2 in the first on the home run from Garrett and have been silent since. Wilson, 2-7 to Garrett. That's a 1-3 double. That is a 3. Look at that. That is a 3. So Wayne Garrett with a leadoff double. And now the Astro bullpen is going double barrel action. They have right-hander Ray and left-hander Crawford are in the bullpen. They both had 6 saves on the season, so they could use either one of them. Ronald Second's not going to be helped because his run doesn't mean anything, so there's no sense in holding him on. It doesn't serve any purpose. Here's Rusty Staub. 4-8, and that's a pop-up to second, 1 away. Big out there to get Rusty Staub on the 4-8. That'll bring up Kranepool. Wilson trying to finish what he started. 2-9, and that is a fly ball right field B ? But down 6-2. There's no way in the world you're sending a runner like that. And Wynn has a -1 arm on top of it, so that would just be brutal if he got the last out at third base. That would just be awful. So we're not going to do that. Because, again, his run doesn't mean anything. All right, last chance, Jimmy Gosker. 2-5, and he struck him out to end the ball game. Don Wilson finishes what he started in style. For the Mets in the 9th, no runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. There's your ball game. The Astros won the game in real world 9-2. They win this game 6-2. Don Wilson goes the distance for a victory. Losing pitcher is George Stone. He gave it the grand slam in the 7th inning. So George Stone is your loser. The winning pitcher is, of course, Don Wilson. Let's get the totals for you and see where we are located. I know the Mets had 2 errors. Astros had none. Let's check the hits. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. I got the Astros for 12 hits. 6 runs and 12 hits. No errors. For the Mets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. 2 runs and 7 hits. 5 of those 7 hits came in the first 4 innings. The last 5 innings, they had 2 measly hits, and that was it. So there you go. Hello, Brandon. Good to see you too. Thank you. So there you go. 6-2, your final. The Astros win it. Now, I have a survey question for you all. Well, a couple of announcements, really. So let me get my stuff together here. Next Saturday, we will be at Kansas City's Royal Stadium, the new Royal Stadium, for the Twins and the Royals. That will be next week's game on the NBC Game of the Week. So if you want to look forward to that, that's what we have. Now, Manic Monday, coming up in 2 days, Manic Monday, it'll be Status Pro Baseball. But I'm torn between 2 games. So Game 1 choice is Game 1 of the 2019 World Series between the Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros. Second choice is opening day of Moneyball, Texas Rangers and the Oakland A's. So if you want to vote in the comments, I'm good. I'm good playing either game. It doesn't matter to me. 6-1, half dozen of the other. So if you want to put a comment between now and Sunday evening when I'm going to play this, then and record it and upload it, then you could do that. Looks like everybody's leaning towards Moneyball. So looks like Moneyball might be winning out here. At least the way it's looking from the early on. Of course, that can change. Other people can chime in for other things as well. It's up to you. If we do Moneyball, those are the cards right there. Status Pro. And that's what the game would be, Status Pro. 2002 Texas Rangers at Oakland A's. Opening day. And you also get John Rocker. Not that you want John Rocker. So, looks like that's going to be the winner. Looks like that's the chicken winner. Whatever that phrase goes. Winner, chicken dinner, I guess is how it goes. So, looks like that will be it. We'll save the Astros and the trash cans for another day. So it will be the A's against the Rangers, Status Pro. That will be the Manic Monday game. Status Pro basic, nothing fancy, no advanced with dice or none of that stuff. This is the old school with the fast action cards and whatnot. I believe the starting pitching matchup is Chan-Ho Park against Mark Mulder. I believe that's what the opening day game is. Don't quote me on it, but I believe that's what it is. So you get A-Rod, you get I-Rod, you get Palmeiro, all the steroid type guys, and then you get Moneyball guys. Remember Scott Hatterberg, famous for causing things to going on. I understand that, Brian B., but I can't do Cincinnati every time. So, and in 2002, I think these are the only cards I printed. It's a PDF I have of this season, and I think these are the only two teams I printed. I actually wasn't planning on doing them, but when I was searching through my Status Pro supplies, I found these two. And I said, maybe that's an option as well instead of the trash can game. So with the Astros, people might be tired of the Astros by now. Probably are very happy the Astros are near the bottom in the current season. But anyway, so I'll record this game tomorrow, and it will be uploaded for Manic Monday, lunchtime, noon Monday presentation on a premiere, and it will be Status Pro, Texas Rangers at the Oakland A's. Again, next Saturday for the NBC game of the week, we will have the Twins and the Royals. So we're back to a DH. There'll be no double switching. There'll be straight up DHing and playing. But of course, you got Rod Carew, you got Harmon Killebrew, Tony Oliva is on the bench. So you got a lot of veterans that are still hanging around for the Twins, and then you got some of the young guys like Mayberry and Otis, Lou Piniella, guys like that for the Hal McRae, Freddie Patek for the Royals. Don't remember who the starting pitchers were in that game. I guess I could look it up. Oh, actually I can. It's Bill Hands against Paul Splittorff. So Bill Hands for the Twins, Paul Splittorff for the Royals. That'll be next Saturday. And then, of course, on Manic Monday, you will see the Moneyball A's against the Texas Rangers in Status Pro Basic game. For those who enjoy Strat-O-Matic, tune over to Jeffrey Gudeman's Strat-O-Matic channel. He's going to continue the White Sox and the Royals. He was kind enough to pause this game to come join me here. But now, if you want to go back to his channel, you can check him out and check his live broadcast for that game. Lots of good chat in his channel with trivia questions, the whole 9 yards. So very enjoyable. I enjoyed listening and watching his channel while I'm at work during the week. So that's what we got. But from here, for NBC Game of the Week, it is the Astros 6, Mets 2, player of the game. No doubt about it. Cesar Cedeno, his grand slam in the 7th was the difference. 2 outs, bases loaded. He took a grand slam all the way, and all the left fielder Oscar could do was look at it, and George Stone just hung his head, and that was it. And Yogi Berra just didn't know what to do. But that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.